Hello and welcome to Sakura Angels, another of the rather notorious Sakura series visual novels. So, what can we expect? Well, there's a couple of things that are reoccurring in most Sakura stories. That is, rather relatively busty girls in surprisingly skimpy outfits. There usually will be some kind of, "Whoa, did I fall and land with my face close to your boobs?" And a girl covered in sticky yet revealing kind of liquid or goo. Anyway, why am I playing this? Well, I have a sort of love-hate relationship. Well, not really hate, that would be too strong a word. But I like the Sakura series for how much over the top they are. The Sakura series don't take themselves seriously. I mean, they take themselves seriously in telling the story, which is kind of silly. But that's just how the story is. So, we're gonna start this, and we're gonna run it for about 20-25 minutes, around there. Or if it's fitting with a chapter, or however these are put up. So, let's get into it. Ooh, I like the bass line there. Every night, I have the same dream. Every night, I'm always brought back to this place, without fail. And then every morning I'll wake up, with no memory of this place at all, until the next time I fall asleep. Not a single night has went by without my consciousness being dragged into this abyss. This realm is devoid of light, so much so that I can't even see my hand in front of my face, no matter how desperately I wave it. The concept of sound is just as absent, my steps silent, my distressed cries swallowed by the bordering darkness as quickly as they had left my mouth. I'm in a bleak, barren wasteland of nothingness. Spending any prolonged amount of time here begins to make me doubt even my own existence. Yet, despite feeling suffocated by the striking absence of everything, I know I'm not alone. Something is watching me, stalking me from the shadows. I can't say for sure what it is, but every once in a while I'll catch sight of something out of the corner of my eye. A pair of burning bright eyes fixated purely on me. They hate me, despise me. There's an overwhelming sense of animosity radiating from whoever they belong to. I know they want nothing more than to lash out and attack me, but something is holding them back. A force they truly despise. Invisible chains that bind and restrict them from the one thing that is on their mind. At first, when I began dreaming about this place, the eyes were distant, like glimmering stars. But with each passing night, that eye seems to inch ever closer and shine ever brighter. I think whatever force has been holding them from me is beginning to fade. What will happen when these eyes reach me? I shudder to think. I know it's just a dream, so I shouldn't be afraid. But everything I experience here is so vivid. None of the usual murky haze that shrouds such dreamlike environments seems to exist here at all. I have perfect clarity. I can feel the stagnant, freezing air all around me, enough to incite a shiver out of me every once in a while. Since I'm so used to this dream, I know how it will end. I'll wade through the darkness for what seems like an eternity, never finding anything, until the morning finally comes and pulls me out of this nightmare. At least, that was how it usually ended. Something is different tonight. Those hateful burning eyes that always kept just out of sight before. I'm suddenly confronted by them. Never before have they been so close. Never before have I stared straight back into them. Their narrowed, piercing gaze roots me to the spot, and a shooting pain surges through me. I can't move. I can't breathe. And then, from out of the darkness, a crooked smile spreads, just as sinister as the eyes. So close. I can practically taste of freedom. It won't be long now. Enjoy the peace while you can, boy, for your days are numbered. And then everything shall change. My head is killing me. These morning migraines are the worst. Every morning, without fail, I always wake up to a sensation not unlike my skull being pounded by a jackhammer. Thump, thump, thump. It's almost like a heartbeat. I feel like my head is going to split open. It's weird though, because even though the pain is intense, it never lasts long. In the space it takes me to get up and head for school, the pain is usually reduced to just a dull throb at the back of my skull by then. So it isn't too much of a hassle in the grand scheme of things. But it certainly isn't a fun way to wake up. I just find it odd how consistent it seems to be. Anyway, enough pondering about these weird mysteries. It's time to tackle the day. After a moment of wrestling with my blanket, I swing my legs around and drag myself out of bed. A quick look at my bedside clock tells me it's still early. Too early. If I had it my way, the world wouldn't start until at least a good way into the afternoon. But sadly, life just isn't that wonderful. Pulling back the curtains to let the light flood into my room, I suppress the urge to let out a hiss, almost blinding myself in the process. Too bright! The rest of my time getting ready is spent fighting with my uniform, a tie becoming all the more problematic to put on when you're half asleep. Oh god, I think I actually got my hand stuck in it. Almost choking myself to death in the most pathetic fight ever, I finished putting on the tie, the rest of my uniform complying peacefully with me. Unable to find a comb, I settled for just flattening my hair down with my hands. Blinking into the mirror, I'm left staring back at someone with messy black hair. It's close enough. Somewhat dressed and somewhat ready, I stumble out of my room, my legs still not fully awake. Uneven steps carry me dangerously down the stairs, and I soon emerge into the kitchen. I'm greeted by silence. The kitchen is empty. A familiar scene for me. My parents are what you might call workaholics. Basically, they spend more time at their respective jobs than they ever do here. I only ever get to catch them during the evening while we're eating, and then everyone's off to bed, and the cycle repeats. Don't get me wrong, I understand they have to work in order to keep us living comfortably, so I don't hate them for it. It just gets, I don't know, lonely? Ah well, there's no use moping about it. It's been like this for years, so I don't know why I was getting all emotional about it now. The plus side of them not being around is that I had quickly learned how to cook for myself. It's amazing how fast you can adapt to that sort of stuff when you're starving. I don't think I have enough time for anything fancy to eat for breakfast, so I'll just settle for toast. You can never go wrong with toast. Okay, you might be able to go wrong with toast. I have sudden traumatic flashbacks to when the toaster erupted into flames. Ah, what a day that was. But I've learned from my mistakes now. It won't happen a third time. Having devoured the only slightly charred toast, I sling my bag over my shoulder before starting for the front door. I gave the empty house one last look before opening the front door. It's kind of depressing to have no one to say goodbye to, but again, this has been the same for every weekday morning since forever ago. The sun is shining high in a cloudless sky, birds are chirping overhead, waves of students are passing by, happily chatting with one another as they all make their way to school. It's all so horrible. I'm not much of a morning person, so I can't even begin to fathom how everyone can be so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed right now. I mean, it's taking all of my willpower just to be able to put a foot in front of the other without just crumbling to the ground. I just have to hope the breakfast kicks in and gives me the energy I need before I'm forced to literally drag myself through the school gates. While keeping my head down and my eyes glued to the ground as I soldiered on, I suddenly noticed that the vibrant atmosphere from before is gone. Silence has completely taken over. My steps are the only thing making any noise. The air is still. Huh. That is a bit strange. Bringing my head up, I met with an unsettling sight. The street is deserted. No students, no cars, and even the cheerful chirping of the birds is gone. What? I hurry on forward, hoping to at least run into somebody. Anyone. Even the sun's once golden rays seems muted, the world tinged in dreary tones, but there still isn't a cloud in the sky. Okay, this is definitely starting to freak me out. I need to just... A splitting pain shoots through my head, stopping me in my tracks. Like a searing poker being thrust through my skull. A headache? Now? Nothing is making any sense. Desperately trying to keep myself upright, as I clutch a hand to my head, I stagger forwards. Unlike the headaches from before, that gradually died down, this one seems to be getting worse. Thump, thump, thump. It won't stop at all. I'm brought to my knees. I can hardly even think straight, my head threatening to explode at any moment. And then, through gritted teeth and a pained expression, I see it. Something that shouldn't exist. Yet, it clearly does, as confirmed by my own terrified eyes. A monster. That's the only word that can come to my scrambled mind. A hulking, grotesque mass of flesh with gnarled fangs and red, slitted eyes seething with hate. The closest thing I can relate it to would be a dog, but no dog I know is 3 times the size of me, its form practically eclipsing the sun. It snorts with flared nostrils, something like steam being exhaled out. Given its tense stance and the fact that it's blocking my way, I can only assume that it's here for me. But why? What the hell is it? Where did it come from? Why does it want me? 1,000,001 questions race through my head, but I doubt I'm going to get any answers from this thing. There's only one thing I can do when presented with such odds, and that is to... Ooh. Well, he did mention that I get him the vibe from him that he's not the most happy about school. And the fact that... Now, it's not said where he lives, but I assume that from the backgrounds that it's a fairly large metropolitan city. And the way that it was described in how the tension suddenly broke off and got different, to me sounds like fleeing wouldn't matter because everything else is still. So even if you were to run away from a monster that's 3 times his own size, he wouldn't have anywhere to go, essentially. And if it's 3 times his size, it's usually not that slow, because it's not described as a slug creature. So I think the logical thing to do is to stand my ground. Of course. I don't know what the hell this thing is, or why it suddenly appeared in front of me, but I'm not going to let it take me down without a fight. Ignoring the pain that threatens to consume my skull, I straighten myself up and stare right back into the hateful eyes of the beast. Right, that guitar surprised me, and I played through this like 2 or 3 times already, and I think that guitar gets me every time. It's catchy. And then, tightening a fist, I lash out like lightning, my fist connecting with its head cleanly with a solid impact. Take this, foul beast! Wham! Okay, no. Bad idea. That did nothing. In fact, it looks even angrier than it did before now. All I've managed to do is bruise my own fist. I hope I haven't broken anything. I reel back from my brutal attack, giving the fist in question a good shake. It still stings. Ow! Now what do I do? My blazing surprise attack was met with complete indifference, and now I think it's too late to run, as the creature is gearing itself up for a charge, its front leg digging into the ground. This might have been a mistake. I try to turn tail and begin running, but the beast kicks off at the ground straight towards me. There's nothing else I can do. I brace myself as best I can for the inevitable bone-shattering impact. Right before the beast can connect with me and bring my life to a grisly end, a dazzling radiant light floods my vision and engulfing me, both me and the monster. The beast stops in its tracks, a guttural cry escaping it before it vaporizes before my eyes. What the hell just happened? Ah, jeez, that was a close one. Are you alright? A cheerful voice chirps. A welcome sound after the terrors of that thing. Ah, don't talk to him. We have to leave before... And then another voice that's less cheerful. In fact, they sound angry more than anything. And yep, boobalicious angels. The light soon fades, revealing my saviors. Though this definitely is the last thing I was expecting. Two girls, roughly my age, stand before me. I blink several times before I scrub my eyes, hoping things might make a little more sense. This can't be real. I'm having more trouble believing these girls are actually standing before me than I did with the monster. Wielding weapons and costumes taken straight out of a fantasy book. It's all a bit too much for my brain to attempt to process. What the heck was that? A shadow. The more cheerful of the two simply says that to me, her stance relaxing some. Huh? Was that supposed to explain everything? I glanced down at my feet, where my own shadow stretches, but the girl burst into a giggle. Not your own shadow, silly! The thing we just took care of, which you're welcome for, by the way, is what we call a shadow. The physical manifestation of all the hatred and negative emotion that might lurk in one's heart. Normally they're not so aggressive during the day, though. It was really out for you. We're usually pretty good at nabbing them before they can get to you, but this one completely took us by surprise. I'm happy we got here in time. You're not hurt, are you? No, I'm fine, but as if things weren't bad enough that we had to reveal ourselves to him, now you're just casually blabbing away things that no normal person should have the right to know. Have you lost your mind? I'm cut short by the more aggressive looking of the pair, whose expression have grown darker and darker as the cheerful one had spoken. Looking like she's unable to take it anymore, she exploded, causing us both of us to jump. Oh, but he looks so confused! And now that he's seen one of the shadows firsthand, don't you think it's just a little too late for us to quietly slip back into the shadows? Her eyes narrows into a frightening glare. It's clear that she isn't happy, but I don't think she has anything to counter with. See? You worry too much. We only tell him what he needs to know, nothing more, nothing less. The upbeat girl brings her attention back to me, a sparkle in her eye. Right, so, Kenta, where were we? Wait. How do you know my name? Huh? Oh, whoops. She puts her hand to her mouth as if to try and take back the words. The questions continue to pile up, but I still haven't gotten any answers. You idiot. Whap! The serious one raps her fist against the other's head, who sticks her tongue out in a sort of tee-hee, my bad kind of way. So, you guys know me? I've never seen them in my life, and given how they look, I definitely think I would have remembered them. Well, we don't know you personally, but we've been watching over you for a while now. You've become quite the point of interest recently, you know? Me? What the heck did I ever do to get so much attention? As far as I know, I'm just an average student who lives an average life, doing average things. Though after this, I guess I can't really call my life average anymore. Can't really go into details because, you know, top secret and all, but let's just say it's not in our best interest for you to fall into the wrong hands. You wouldn't believe how much effort we've been putting into keeping you safe, you know. Oh, I think this was the cheerful girl singing that cheersy. Actually, I'm kind of relieved we finally get to meet, so you can finally appreciate all our hard work. She beams at me, leaning in perhaps a little bit too close. She's throwing so much at me here that I can hardly think straight. Just, who the heck are you guys? She falls deep into thought, her nose scrunching up. I guess she's choosing her words carefully as to avoid another brutal assault from her partner. think of us as guardian angels, okay? Hence the name of the series. Saying that, she gives her bow a flourish and it shatters between her fingers. Moments later, the shattered pieces of the bow begins to gather behind her, the shards piecing back together rapidly until finally they form a pair of wings on her back. The wings, while not strictly attached to her, at least seem to function as they sway in the breeze and give off a glimmer every now and then. Wait, are they literally angels? Let me get this straight. To start from the beginning, that thing that attacked me, that monster, you call those shadows? Yup. And these shadows have supposedly been haunting me for a while now. Because, apparently, if they catch me, it'll be bad for unspecified reasons. Yup. Really bad. And you guys, whoever you are, have been combating them from the shadows to keep me safe from harm. She nods enthusiastically. It looks like I've just about got a grip on what the whole thing is, even if that was a little sparse on details. Knowing all this, it brings me to the conclusion that... well, in any other situation, I would definitely say these girls have lost it, but I have no choice but to believe them. Why not? Let's go down the rabbit hole. As crazy as all this sounds, I really can't deny the evidence before me. That monster was real, and I have no reason to doubt that the girls who destroyed that thing are real as well. Okay, so, what happens now? Well, now that the shadows have gotten more aggressive, I really don't think we can go back to our old job of watching you from afar. We were lucky to just barely catch the thing for just now after all. Somehow, I don't like the sound of that, or what it might imply, at all. So, we'll be parting ways for now, but expect us to be keeping an extremely close eye on you from now on, okay? Bye-bye for now! She gives me a wink and a wave before taking off in the other direction. A less enthused partner simply turns her head from me with a last before following her. I'm soon left completely alone within the street, where just moments ago my entire world had been spun on its head. Did all of that just happen? Jeez. All of this will have to wait for later though. Right now, I have to focus on the bigger issue. Being late for school! I break into a sprint as I try to make up for the lost time, all the while hoping that I'll never run into those two again. Oh. Somehow, I just about barely make it to class. It was a photo finish through the door right as the bell went, but I made it. And that is where we shall end the first episode. So, things, this is sort of the classic Sakura style of visual novel where you have a guy, you have two girls, they have fairly large boobs, fairly skimpy outfits, they save him, he's a clumsy idiot living an average life, and suddenly they get the hots for him. Well, so this series is essentially running for a little while because it's easy for me to make visual novels. It is a bit hard on my throat, as you might be able to tell from my coughing. But other than that, it's pretty easy. And in general, it requires very little of me. Like, all I have to do is essentially click the mouse and skip on to the next text. Maybe take a screenshot every now and then, but that's about it. So, until next time, take care.